Welcome to the Intentional Wellbeing Podcast. I'm in super fangirl mode because I am talking to the one, the only Abby Langer of Langer Nutrition. And let me give you the lowdown. So I'm happy that you have been a dietitian since 1999. So that means that you and I might be close to the same age. Educated at Dalhousie University in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and Loyola University in Chicago. Abby has worked extensively both in clinical nutrition and nutrition media and consulting. She has won awards. So she's an award-winning teacher and has served for 3 years on her regulatory college council. Abby is passionate about all aspects of nutrition, from physiology to teaching to cooking. Her approach to nutrition is permissive and relaxed, and she is a true believer in living your best life without dieting. Can I get a round of applause for that? Can we just get a hell yeah for that? Abby's counseling and writings focus on body respect, intuitive style eating. She has written in depth about debunking fad diets and nutrition myths. Abby works as a spokesperson with brands that are aligned with her nutrition philosophy. Her broad skill set includes recipe and content development, food photography and styling, public speaking, and assisting the industry clients behind the scenes with campaign strategy. She's also killing it on the Instagrams, and her blog averages 100,000 unique users per month and is read in over 100 countries. And I love Abby. She's a Canadian. Like me, she loves running. I love that. And spinning and trying new foods and spending time with her family. And she has an undying love. And I know why I love you, because people who don't like coconut, I am suspicious about. She loves coconut. She loves avocados, and she loves Dynamo bars. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Intentional Wellbeing Podcast. Like I said before, I am a huge fan because you call things as you see them. And as a person who has had a lot of dietitians in my life and suffering with disordered eating and eating disorders, I honestly like your approach to everything, because to be quite honest, when I was suffering with an eating disorder, dietitians just made me better at it.
Really?
Yeah, because they would put me on a diet.
Wow. What?
Yeah.
What?
They would put me on a diet. So they would force me to eat certain things. Like they would literally put me on a diet.
Like a weight loss diet, or
a diet to regulate my eating.
So they would tell you to like weigh and measure. Yeah, and in some eating disorder treatment, I think that's the way it's done. However, if it didn't work for you, it shouldn't have been done.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. I was a overweight kid. And I had a dad who was just brutal about it. So I went to a dietitian and they actually put me on a diet. So I would have been about 10.
Oh my God. That's awful.
I went to Weight Watchers at 8.
No.
I did.
My God.
I did.
No.
And so then I got a dietitian, went on a diet, and that's what made me good about dieting, because I really, I can focus really well on things. I can focus on tasks really well. That's how I got through university. That's how I got through, doing my education, because I'm really good at focusing. So when that became my hyper focus, I was really good at it. And I went down a whole spiral. And the whole thing was, dietitians were very much involved in diet culture at the time. This anti-diet dietitian culture is brand spanking new to me. You're one of like 3 friends, or we're not friends yet. We know each other, but you're one of the few people that I have met in the last 5 years that is championing this idea that it's okay to eat all kinds of foods.
Right.
And that we're not demonizing foods.
Yeah, absolutely. And, as someone who grew up in the 80s, I mean, and went through the 90s, the skinny, like thin tastes better, and, Slim Fast and friggin' NutriBar and Nutrisystem and all, Cosmopolitan magazine with I just can't, it became so toxic and harmful that, as a dietitian now, I can't help perpetuate that. Yeah. And you know what? I see though that history we haven't yet learned from history, because I now know that Octavia, that disgusting piece of shit fucking MLM gross dumpster fire,
Yes.
has a kids program now. I can't.
Oh,
I know. It's for kids 13 to 18, and I am going to say something about it because, like, on my feed at some point, because it is horrendous. I've seen the program. It's disgusting. It's like restrictive. You can have like 1 2.5-inch cookie 3 times a week and blah blah blah. Oh yeah, it's bad.
So they're teaching people how to
diet, how to
establish a disordered.
Yeah, but they're teaching 13-year-olds. Okay, I have 2 daughters. One's 12, almost 13, and one's 15. I would, you know what, like, I understand the struggle of kids' bodies and how to talk to your kids around food and what sometimes they only want foods that are ultra processed and all of that, but to put your kid on a diet just perpetuates what we went through all of those years ago and doesn't teach anybody to have a healthy relationship with food. It's not making anyone any healthier. No. You're just delaying the fucked up relationship with food that they're going to have eventually. And then it's terrible.
And Weight Watchers did something very similar. First of all, they went to WW because they had such a backlash. I gotta tell you a funny story about Weight Watchers, but WW is such a backlash around that. And then they started the same kind of thing.
Kurbo.
Right before the pandemic, or maybe a year before the pandemic, they were doing all of that, and I was speaking out about it. I did a show, a cable show with a man named Dr. Nandy. He has a tape. Every once in a while, I get people like coming up to me going, "Oh, I saw you on the Dr. Nandy show." It's filmed in Detroit. I live in Essex County, which is like literally 20 minutes from the border. And I went to talk about yoga. Like yoga and fitness and moving. And I really always want to make sure people see me in my plus size body moving, because I am not moving to change my body. I am moving to feel better in my body, right? I movement is medicine and feels good. It makes me happy and all that stuff. So I'm doing that out of sheer happiness and joy. So that was, I go to this taping and everybody in the green room is like, a protege of Weight Watchers. So all these people in the green room have lost 50, 70, 80 pounds. I'm the biggest person in the green room. There's another woman that is there that has just started her weight loss journey. And then the regional manager or whoever of Weight Watchers is there to talk on this segment.
Oh my God.
I didn't realize going into this is what this was about. I thought I was just coming to talk about joyful, mindful movement. So that's what I came to talk about. And I thought, perfect. Awesome. So I'm in the green room. They've got everything set out. They've got carrots and, apples and grapes and all that stuff. And on the other side, they've got peanut butter cups and pretzels and all this other stuff. So I'm eating the stuff that nobody's eating, right? Because they're all part of the Weight Watchers thing. And this is going to be so many points and this is going to be that. And I don't care. And I'm eating all this stuff and everybody's looking at me sideways and I really don't care. So I get on the Dr. Nandy show and I talk about how I'm not part of the diet culture phenomenon. And in the green room, my kids are, and they're watching this I'm not going to say her name, but they're watching this regional director watching me talk about this thing. And they're like, she's like, who is this person? Why is she talking? Right? She's really interested in what I'm saying. Then she comes on after I do my segment, pretty much parrots what I say, but then centers it back to dieting.
No, that's Weight Watchers in a nutshell. Like, we're not a diet, we're a lifestyle, except we're a diet.
Exactly. Like Noom. Like that's the other thing that's out there that's pretending.
Oh my God. People are pretty wise to Noom. Yeah, it's a diet. They're all diets. Listen, if you get a calorie budget or a points budget, if you have, don't eat these foods, eat these foods sometimes, eat these foods often lists. Like if you have to weigh and measure anything, like that is a diet.
Yes.
Don't delude yourself into thinking, well, it's psychology. That's not psychology. Like Noom and Weight Watchers, whatever psychology they may use, especially Noom, has been debunked actually by actual psychologists.
Wow.
And the people who coach you in these programs aren't qualified to coach you. Right. And that goes for all the MLMs like Beachbody, It Works, Ourbon, like all of those. Optavia is like they're all so awful. Yeah.
But the only problem, the big problem is it's a huge money making industry. Somewhere in the neighborhood of $80 billion a year is made on making people feel bad about themselves. And what kills me is I joined the gym about 6 years ago. I used to teach at the gym. I stopped going to the gym. I was doing my own thing out here, had a couple kids, running, walking, all that kind of stuff. And I decided to go back to the gym because I like working out. I like being there. I'm in an atmosphere where it's very diverse. We have fitness instructors that are all ages, all body sizes, all ethnicities. So it's a space that I really love being in. And I'm the teacher who says to everybody, this is not an all or nothing practice. This is an all or something practice. And we are just here to have a good time. And if you need to take a break, and if you need to tap out and get a sip of water, or if you need to take your knees to the floor, if you need to sit this round of exercise out, it doesn't matter, right?
I love that.
Right? Things are cumulative. Do it till it feels good. When you get tired, take a break, have a sip of water. You want to tap out of something altogether, I will give you other alternatives to
That's how people maintain an exercise program. And it's the same with nutrition. It's not all or nothing. It's all or something, or doing your best.
Right.
It's not like follow this diet plan or you fail.
Right.
Start over, Whole30. You have a piece of gum. You have to start over. Like, it's so fucked up. Listen, I already have one mother. I don't need a fucking diet plan to tell me what to do.
Right.
And I don't need that. And nobody needs that. Do your best with what you're given at the time. Right? Because our circumstances change. Our lives are not static, right? Some weeks, months, years are harder than others. You do your best. And when you can maybe do a little bit more, you do a little bit more. When you have to spend the day in bed, you spend the day in bed, and fuck that. And you know what? It's taken me 50 years.
I know.
To figure this out.
I know, and I'm so mad about all the time I wasted.
Don't be mad about it, because where you are now, you had to go through all of that there, right? But I used to be like, I gotta work out X times a week, and if I don't work out an hour, it doesn't count. And like now I'm like, oh fuck, you know what? I feel like tired.
I'm out.
I'm gonna work out today. And don't work out 4 times a week or whatever, nothing bad is going to happen.
No kidding. It's actually probably going to be good, because you're probably actually working out.
You come back and you're so much stronger.
It's true. When you take a full couple of days off.
I love it. Every once in a while, I'll take a whole week. I'll take a whole week.
A whole week off.
And it's awesome. And then it's the same with eating. Like I used to be like, God, I eat so much now, I have to work out to burn it. And this is like a long time ago. And I just would feel like shit and guilty and whatever. And now I know at age 50 that I'm like, you know what? I overate today. Nothing bad's going to happen to me. I'm just going to go back and eat the way I usually do tomorrow. And nothing's gonna happen,
and I'll feel fine. Like if I just feel like, oh, I really overdid it, okay, I'm just gonna go back to my regular life, and and everything's going to be fine. I keep trying to tell people, our bodies work out. Our bodies, process things over time, over a week. Nothing happens in a day.
No, it's not a day-to-day, hour-to-hour, meal-to-meal thing. It's like over time. And if you overeat, your body, your metabolism, your metabolic rate like goes up. To like, it's not like no one's gonna gain fat in like a day.
I know.
Deal anyhow. Like, so you gain a pound. Like
big deal.
Like, but the way a pound becomes 5 pounds, become 10 pounds is when you're just like feeling so shit about yourself that you're like back and forth. Oh, I want that cookie, but I can't have it. I'll have a little bit. Okay, I just ate the whole bag. And it's like, just have it and get past it, right?
Yeah. Just have it. That's the thing that blows my mind. When I was deep in my eating disorder and I was denying myself things that I actually wanted, I would eat everything around it. And then eventually eat it.
You end up eating more, and you also, even outside of all of the volume of food, just, you feel so bad about yourself
constantly,
and it's like a constant like obsession with what am I going to eat for dinner? Well, I can't have. It's like a mathematical. You fucking have to go do like advanced fucking
calculus.
Calculus in a restaurant.
I know.
There's chicken breast plus the meat. What? No, just eat. I notice like now that I just eat whatever I want.
Me too.
And I noticed that like when I used to go to a restaurant, and I'm getting like totally off base.
No, this is the conversation. This is how this goes.
But okay.
How the podcast goes.
I used to go to a restaurant and I'd be like, well, I shouldn't have the burger. And then I would like order the burger and I'd feel bad, but even before I started eating it, and then I would eat the whole thing and the fries and everything. And then I'd have dessert because I would just be like, well, I've blown it. Now I feel like I want a burger. I just eat what I want. I usually don't finish it. Because I know that I can always have the burger and I don't give a shit. I just eat. And you know what? I eat for how I want to feel. Yeah. So like maybe that day I want a burger, maybe tomorrow I want a salad, and it's okay. And like I eat what I want and I leave the rest and it's fine. And I can have, and if I overeat, then it's fine. Like give myself permission to do all of that stuff. Now, I'm not saying that everyone is the same.
No, of course not.
Like there are some people who legitimately can't stop.
Right.
There's some people who have like leptin resistance and who feel always hungry, you know, but for most of us, this is like, you know, a lot of this stuff is psychological and it ends up being physical because we have like this push-pull in our brains, and then it ends up affecting what we eat and then how we feel.
Absolutely. And I'm tired of feeling guilty over the pleasure of food. Like I'm having a whole conversation with somebody on my Instagram over the carrots versus the chips, you know, and I'm like, have the carrots and have the chips. You know, there's a whole fan base for carrots already, right? Like if you're not part of the fan base for carrots, then you're just not. And it's okay not to eat them and not to want to have them. But we are so invested in diet culture, and it starts really young. I remember growing up, my mother was constantly on a diet. Like that was always constantly on a diet. And the first thing that I did with my children as I was bringing them up was point out when we were being brainwashed or when a message was being pushed at us. And so they would be really little and we'd be at the grocery store, and I'd have, my kids are 15 and 17, soon to be 16 and 18, like really soon, which blows my mind. That went really quick. So I have them, you know, in the cart at the grocery store, and I would pull up to check stuff out, and they would be looking at the magazines, and I would say to them, what message are you seeing? I mean, they'd be young. Yeah. What message are you seeing? Because I wanted them to be media literate. I wanted them to understand when they were being sold a lie, when they were looking at something that wasn't real, because I didn't want them to buy into the bullshit. And that was something I grew up on 17 magazine. I had a subscription to 17 magazine, and then I graduated from 17 magazine to Cosmopolitan, which always on the front page would have lose that last 5 pounds.
I know, it was awful.
Jeans, right? And so I grew up on that stuff, and I didn't know that I was being brainwashed or sold a lie. So I would really wanted my kids to be able to be media savvy, to look at these images, break them down, and figure out, how does this make me feel? What's the buy-in? How do I not buy in? What's wrong with this messaging? Because I want them to be able to be critical of this stuff instead of getting sucked in.
Yeah. And I do the same thing with my kids. It's really important because it's everywhere, right?
Constantly. I'm always trying to wedge myself between them and diet culture, but it is so insidious. It shows up in all kinds of different ways. And I always have to say to them, okay, this is marketing. Okay, this is a lie.
But they know already.
They do.
They totally know.
This generation's very smart. You've got Gen Z in our lives, and it's a whole different ballgame from our Gen Xers, right? We're Gen Xers. You said you're 50, I'm 52. So we're in that we grew up at the same time. Yeah. I grew up in Burlington, Ontario, just outside of Toronto. So I feel like we have a lot, you know, we may have even crossed paths at one point. Maybe. But also, how did you get involved in being a dietitian? Like, what was it about that spoke to you? And then what took you down the anti-diet train?
So I wanted to be a commercial pilot, but someone told me that you need to have perfect vision and be good in physics. And
Oh,
so I'm neither of those things.
right.
And so you know what? My father is a orthopedic surgeon. My mom's a social worker, a
Mhm.
family, individual, and couples therapist. And so I grew up sort of in a medical household. I've always been fascinated with the human body. And I also grew up in a household that was my dad would like go to the market, St. Lawrence Market, and get like tons of cheeses and food. Like I was exposed to all different kinds of food at a very young age. I hate the word foodie. That's the kind of, my
Yeah.
friend in high school opened the fridge and there was like an octopus in there, and she freaked out. She still talks about it. So, but it all came together in a desire to be a dietitian. Like I didn't know dietitians existed until I was in university and doing
Oh,
my
okay.
degree at Dalhousie. And then I decided, to go to Loyola and do a post-bac for nutrition, which is what I did. And yeah, I just went from there.
That's amazing. And tell me how you got interested in you were an incredible content creator. I
Thank you.
love that you don't mince any words, and you're
Yeah.
not afraid to call stuff out, because people
Yeah. I
kind of,
get into trouble for that, but it's okay.
well, it's okay. It's good trouble though,
I
right?
have to have a defamation lawyer on staff. Like, I have a defamation lawyer, like
On retainer.
yeah.
Have people come at you for that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
I love this for us.
The most fucked up thing is the person, the person who came after me is Canadian.
Really? Oh, shocking. I expect it from America because it's kind of a Sioux culture. We don't so much have that same Sioux culture here in Canada.
No.
Wow. Her feelings were really hurt.
Yeah, she was sad.
Well, that's too bad. Boo-hoo.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to put yourself out there publicly, you have to be okay with criticism, right? You
Yeah.
can choose to ignore it.
Yeah, and I've just gotten really good at understanding what defamation is and like what I can say and what I can't.
Yeah, which is great. And I love that you call that stuff out, because I've never seen anybody, people kind of like tiptoe around it and, don't
I know.
call it, but you actually say, this is gross. I wouldn't like that. There's no value in doing that.
I know. And I have people like saying, well, why do you have to call out that person? You're a bully. And I'm just like, I'm using this person who's selling something that's so fucked up and hurting people as an example of what not to do. I can't, my message would not be effective if I didn't say, here's this person making egg white cinnamon rolls and telling you that they're high in protein and delicious.
And you can eat the whole pan.
You can eat the whole pan. Like that's sort of like the key piece of the puzzle. It needs to be there.
Yeah.
And it's, you know what? There's no shortage, unfortunately, of material for me to use.
Every day. And that's the sad thing. We're not learning anything, and we're not understanding that this is all fueled by money. This is all fueled by power. This is all fueled by the patriarchy. This is all fueled by things that are designed to keep certain populations at a disadvantage.
It is so fucked up. Like I criticized this younger girl for this carrot salad thing. I put it on Twitter and I had all these fucking men who didn't have profile photos,
of course,
saying how wrinkly and ugly I was compared to her. And I'm like, go fuck yourself, because I'm not here for your viewing pleasure. I'm 50 years old. She's like 20 something. And you know what? Women are allowed to age. And what does my appearance have to do with it anyways? But this is social media today, especially Twitter. I said to my husband, I'm like deleting my account, because some of them, they came at me with anti-Semitic stuff too.
Oh so the minute Elon Musk took it over,
it's, oh my God. And my husband, you have so many followers, you shouldn't delete your account. And I'm just like, oh, I just can't do it. I can't do it.
I can't be in that hate space.
It's awful.
Be in a space that's not regulated. And as a Black woman, I'm not showing up in that space to be like pummeled. Whatever, to be pummeled for.
And these people are so disgusting. They're like, it's always the person who has no profile photo.
Of course, because they're a coward. Because they're a coward.
And just like is the dumbest, like anti-vax, fucking Bitcoin, bro, asshole. Elon Musk. It's just like, fuck you. So but it's it's hard. I find that like Facebook is my favorite because I get to interact with people. I have a really great Facebook community at it's Abby Langer Nutrition. Like it's so fun. Everyone's great. Sometimes they're rude, and then I block them.
People need to be checked, right? Sometimes people need to be checked.
But Instagram's good too. Like I find that
like
for the most part, Instagram's good. TikTok, I'm just like a little too old for it.
I don't get it really.
I have to do it for work, so I do it, but I don't enjoy it.
I don't enjoy it at all. I don't know how to do the dances. And I don't know how to.
I don't want to. You know what? Don't do the dance. I find that people our age who do the dances look bad. Cringy, I'm sorry. Right? I don't want to be ageist, but like it's awkward. Yeah, my kids would die of embarrassment.
Oh yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
My kids don't like me to put them on my Instagram. They're like. At all. My son said to me at Christmas, "Can we not post any of these pictures, please? Can these just be family pictures?" And I was like, "But you're so cute in your Santa."
No, they're cute. I mean?
Yeah, I know. I respect that, but I can't with social media, and the fact that they can't come at you with a legitimate argument.
Well, that's social media.
Yeah, right. Or say to you, okay, I agree with what you're saying here, but I don't understand this, that, or the other thing.
Yeah, no, it's never like that.
No, like, it's like you're ugly, you're fat, or whatever.
Yeah, it's really so dumb. And then like, and if you ask someone for sources, you know, because there's a lot of people making really bad nutrition claims, like really false, idiots. It's just like idiotic, and you're like, what? Where's the research to back that up? And they're like, well, go find it on PubMed. There's plenty of research. I'm not going to do it for you. And I'm like, you're the one make it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Because there is none.
Exactly.
I've gotten into numerous tangles with Toronto-based holistic nutritionists. I'm sure you know.
A problem. You don't need to say anymore. I know.
Yeah.
I have a big problem with this holistic nutritionist title. Like whenever I see people like that do that, it's an online course for a lot of folks.
I'm in the middle of writing something about it actually, because I have a couple who are like people who have a lot of grievances against it, and it's a problem. But I'm trying to work out how to frame this whole thing so that I don't sound like sour grapes, but it's a problem, like a huge problem. The curriculum is
garbage.
It's crazy.
That's something I don't understand. And then people seem to confuse a dietitian, which is an actual degree, everybody, at an accredited university
and a regulated health profession. So I have like a college that watches what I do, right?
Exactly. Versus like, I'm going to take this holistic nutrition course and then I'm going to put everybody on this elimination diet. Yeah. And then I'm going to,
tell you a hormone diet because your hormones are unbalanced. What?
What does that even mean?
It doesn't mean anything.
What does that even mean? You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. And I remember I had a colleague who was doing this and she was like, we're going to reset your metabolism.
No.
And I said to her, put your hands underneath your armpits. Do you feel how your armpits are warm? That's your metabolism working. It doesn't need a reset. Do you feel that?
It's
Do you
not
feel
an
your
iPhone.
warm armpits? Do you, right?
Yeah, you feel
that
reset
your
that.
Metabolism working.
But that's what, like a lot. I mean, I can't paint all holistic nutritionists with the same brush. There are some who are amazing.
Actually, good. Okay.
Yeah, cool. Amazing.
Yeah.
And they don't go over their scope of practice. Like they practice within it, and they're just great people overall. But some of them are just, and that goes for naturopaths and chiropractors. Like some of them are amazing, and then some dietitians are amazing, and some of them are not.
Yes.
There are dietitians who tell you they can balance your hormones and are selling you Dutch tests and food sensitivity tests. There's some in every profession.
Yeah.
It's not that dietitians are exempt from that. Oh my gosh, no. It's really sad. Mostly in the States, but
yeah, but here, creeping in here too, those elimination. And the thing with an elimination diet, if you go to a holistic practitioner and they put you on an elimination diet, if you've had an eating disorder or if you are prone,
well, they should ask you
eating, that's going to send you down a rabbit hole.
Oh yeah. Like that should be a question before anyone ever gets started with you is, have you had, for your nutritionist, do you have an eating disorder? You have a history of an eating disorder, right?
Yeah.
But
And I also had read on a lot of those elimination diets, the things that they say you have a sensitivity to are things that you've eaten and you have a marker in your system for.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Correct. That's correct. That's so there's a reason why no allergy and immunology society in the developed world supports those tests being used for a diagnosis.
Oh,
right. They all say these are bullshit. They all have position papers. I have a post on it on my website. They all have position papers saying these are not to be used for diagnosis. Yet.
I think it's a moneymaker though.
Oh, they charge like $1,000 for it.
Exactly.
$800. I go to like Gamma Dynacare, wherever I get my blood drawn every year for my physical, and they're selling them.
Yeah.
They're selling them like legit. And people are like, well, if Gamma Dynacare is selling it, then it must be legitimate, but it's not. It's not.
And then getting charged for, we're here in Canada, so getting charged for tests that are covered by OHIP.
What?
Getting charged for tests that are covered by OHIP.
Who charges for tests that are covered by OHIP? Oh, okay. Oh, what? Yeah. Practitioners will charge.
You know.
OHIP is the Ontario Health Insurance Plan. So, like in Canada, do you have a lot of American listeners?
I have a ton of American listeners.
Okay, so
the majority of our listeners are Americans.
Okay, yeah, same with my audience. So, like, in Canada, we have health insurance. It's called OHIP in Ontario.
Yes, every single province has their own kind of OHIP. In British Columbia, it's probably called British Columbia Health Insurance. And so when you go to your doctor and they ask you to go get a blood test, they will give you a rec for a blood test. You will go to the lab, they'll do the test, and there'll be tests to test your hormones. Now, I have Graves' disease, so I have to go every 3 months and have a test to test, my hormones, and that is covered by OHIP. Or, if I have to, my doctor's at Women's College Hospital, so often I'll just go to Toronto and have it done there. And so those are things that are covered by OHIP, but there will be practitioners who will do those same blood tests, but charge you out of pocket for it.
That's so, oh my God. I didn't even know.
That's happening.
Oh boy.
That's happening. So when you are seeking out a dietitian or a holistic nutrition, what should you be looking for? Like if you're thinking to myself, my energy is low, I'm feeling tired, I'm not recovering from my workouts, like who are you looking for and who do you want to talk to if you're looking to just improve your nutritional profile?
Someone who doesn't sell their own supplements. Red flag.
One.
Someone who listens to you.
Yeah.
Someone who doesn't put you on a ton of supplements or like has this one track mind to which diet you need to be on. Yeah. Someone who's open-minded about different sorts of eating patterns, if you will.
Yes.
Someone who has an evidence-based degree.
Yes.
And who belongs to a regulatory body.
Yes.
I mean, holistic nutritionists don't qualify in those areas, but I mean, if you want a holistic nutritionist, that's fine, but just make sure they're not trying to sell you fistfuls of supplements. Mm-hmm. And, anytime you see something like hormone balancing, reset, cleanse, detox, all of that those things are red flags, 100% red flags.
And that's dietitian talk. One of my favorite posts that you did on your Instagram is when there was some Beachbody diet person talking about how white rice was sugar.
Oh my God. That's the same. Listen, she just blocked me.
She gives you so much content. She gives you so much content. She doesn't want to give that to you.
It's okay. I'll go on my dog's account and get it.
And check it out.
Sammy has an account too. But yeah, it's so disgusting.
Yeah.
Hello, white rice is the staple for what, like 80% of the
When
world?
you said that, yes, including my culture,
Yeah,
all Asian culture.
it's so she sits in her fucking, can I swear on this podcast?
Yes,
Because I've been like
I know. I
friggin'
love the F
sailor.
word. That's my
Yeah,
favorite
she sits
word.
in her fucking Beverly Hills mansion and talks about how horrible white rice is. It's a filler food. You know what?
Yeah.
That's so culturally blind.
Yes.
It's disgusting. Like,
Yeah.
and there's actually nothing wrong with white rice. And have you seen the price of groceries? Like,
Yeah.
maybe you just don't give a shit, but
Well,
like,
she lives in Beverly Hills, so a price of groceries is not an issue for
she
her.
doesn't give a shit. But like, it's white rice is a inexpensive carb that has nutrition in it. And I'm so tired of people just like shitting all over these foods that are not only nutritious and can be 100% can be part of an affordable health diet, but also that are someone's cultural foods.
Yes.
What are you like?
Yes.
You're telling like, you know, someone who grew up with white rice as their cultural food that now it's like horrible for them and that they shouldn't be eating it. Oh, they should be eating quinoa or brown rice. Like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so unfair.
And I find as a Black person with Caribbean roots and even African folks, we are always told that our diets are not good.
Yeah, because they're so full of starches.
Right. And we're
but it's delicious.
It's still, who doesn't love plantain?
Plantain.
Right? Who doesn't like plantain?
Oh,
I just am like, why is it always everybody needs to be eating a Mediterranean diet? Why is it always diets that are like the top nutritional diets or the best diets that people need to be on are always from the dominant culture, right? They're never they're never any place on the continent. They're never any place in Asia. This is the best diet. This is the best food that everybody needs to be eating. And that is so culturally inept. That is so narrow-minded. Like, how is it that we get to determine that whatever the dominant culture food is best for everyone? Right? Like that hurts my heart a lot. And I watch like cultural food has nutrition. It's part of our culture. It's how we grew up. It's how we socialize with each other. It's how we celebrate things.
Yeah, but these people think food is fuel. Period.
Yeah.
Food isn't for telling stories or showing love or bringing a community together to those people. To me, it is.
Yeah. To me,
you know, when I worked in family practice for 10 years, and a lot of my patients were from Tibet.
Okay.
And so I wasn't like, they would come in and they'd be like, you know, they have that culture has a lot of diabetes.
Okay.
But you work around the white rice and the momo, right? You don't like tell them to demonize eat rice or give it up.
Yeah.
Like, what do you like? That's so, it is culturally inept. And, you know, and people can have a very healthy diet with these foods, and they just need to add other foods.
Exactly. Right? And I think you've said that. It's not taking away, it's adding.
Be a pencil, not an eraser. Like
that's something that I have gotten from you, and I've applied it to movement as well. Yeah. Right. Like, if there's certain things you like and maybe your shoulder doesn't like it or your knees doesn't like it, but you love doing it, maybe you back off of it a little bit and add other things in that strengthen the muscles and the joints around whatever the injury is. But I love the idea of adding things in as opposed to subtracting things out. We are so very narrow in our perspective of what food is. For my culture, food is celebration, food is love, food is joy. And those things are also nourishing.
And it's okay.
Yes.
We're so used to being told that it's not okay to be hungry. It's not okay to satisfy that hunger. It's not okay to think of food as anything as fuel. It's not okay to enjoy what you eat. That's sinful. It's all white Christian culture.
Yes.
And you know, like the withholding of food and the like repentance or punishment, that it has deep roots in religion.
Yes.
Right?
Puritanical.
But religion.
Yeah.
And my religion loves food. Like, God forbid you don't have enough food. Like, when you have a dinner at a Jewish house, it's like, that's the worst thing possible. Like that.
What did you do wrong? How is there not enough to eat?
If there's not enough to eat, that's a problem. Yeah. But like, and I want everyone to feel that way.
Yeah.
Because it's just, there's so many people who are living their lives feeling like they can't enjoy something that your right to enjoy your food. It's your right to eat what you love. That's how you live your best life. Like,
it's true. I remember when I was raising my boys and they were really little, and diet culture used to creep into my brain and say things like, when my son was upset and crying and I couldn't console him, I would distract him with food. I would be like, come sit on mommy's lap. Let's have a cookie together. And we'd sit and have a cookie together. And I do remember when my family was steeped in diet culture, somebody in my family said to me, you are teaching your child to cope with food. By using food. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. If that's what makes you feel better, then so be it. There's so many things coming at us constantly that is determines how we feel about ourselves, determines on how we look out at the world. Like, if a cookie is going to make him happy, then I'm going to give him the cookie.
Yeah, I always say to people, you're going to eat emotionally and for comfort sometimes, and that's fine. If it's your only tool in your toolbox and your coping toolbox, that's a problem.
Yes.
But I'm assuming that you taught your son other ways of coping with unhappiness, right?
Exactly.
And so, yeah, I mean, and so it's fine. I think, again, like, we've been conditioned to think emotional eating is so awful and we shouldn't do it. But like, hello, like, when was the last time you said no to cake because it was someone's birthday and you were happy and you just had a like,
and you're celebrating their life with a piece of cake.
You eat emotionally when you're happy, you eat emotionally when you're sad or you're anxious, and it's like, that's fine, just as long as you don't do it in response to every single emotion.
Yeah.
Right?
We need to learn how to process our emotions in a myriad of ways. And
of
eating
course,
something that makes you feel good is one way, or maybe going outside for a walk and taking in nature is another way.
Yes.
Maybe calling a friend and having a conversation is another way. Maybe taking a nap is another way. Like, there's lots of different ways to do things. And I want to get to a point in the world where we're okay to eat whatever it is that we love, right?
Yes.
And that there's no guilt associated to that, because there's enough guilt to being in the world as it is, right? Like, I feel guilty for numerous things all the time, and I would love to stop feeling guilty for things all the time. Like, I'm like, ooh, I'm driving my car when I should be walking. I should be feeling guilty about that. But I'm running late as always. So I need
and that's okay. It's okay. Like, giving yourself grace, and it really, being permissive with yourself, I think, is underrated.
Yes. I think empathy towards ourselves is underrated.
Yeah, but it's totally underrated. I think people don't understand that they can have empathy towards themselves. They can treat themselves well. And that is actually the epitome of self-care.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And it doesn't have to cost anything.
No.
Like, we are in this capitalist perspective around self-care that you have to go get a manicure, which I love getting done, or you have to go get a facial, or I put up a post last time I had my hair done. I'm like, if you're feeling bad, go get your hair done. If that's in your wheelhouse, absolutely.
For sure.
I always feel better when I go and my stylist makes me look cute. I always flip my hair. I always take a car selfie, because the lighting in your car is always beautiful.
Always great.
Right? I'll take and that's okay. But it's also okay to take a nap. And it's also okay to go stand outside and take a couple of deep breaths of fresh air. Yeah. It's also okay to do anything else that doesn't cost you any money to make yourself feel better. Maybe that's soaking in a bathtub. Maybe that's taking a warm shower. Like, these are all things that are well within your wheelhouse around self-care. And it doesn't have to be something that you have to pay for or that you have to leave your house to get. It could also be like, unfortunately, I have bills to pay today. That's going to be my self-care thing, because it's going to create anxiety for me if I don't sit down and just do it. Like, I need to just sit down and do it. Yeah. So that, we need to get to a place for that. But I do love the way that you pull apart these messages, and that you're raw, and that you're real, and you drop the F-bomb, and you call people together, in, out, up, whatever the language is we're using. And I think it's important to have people like you speaking the truth, and not people kind of like tiptoeing around what's actually going on.
Yeah. Yeah. We've had too much of that. And Yeah, I couldn't stand by and watch it anymore. So that's when I created my business or my brand. Is I knew I had something to say. No one else was saying it that way. And so I was like, I'm gonna give them the real story.
And that's how you got involved
yeah.
in social media, by just
Yeah.
seeing what was going on and said, I'm gonna be the counter to this narrative.
Yeah, because I would say things in my head. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like all that stuff. And I was like, you know what? No one else is doing this. Like I should really be showing people the way it is and speaking to them in a way that's like a conversation with their friend versus like, you know, a dietitian coming. I am coming from a place of authority in that space, I guess, but like I want to make nutrition accessible to everybody. And I want, even more importantly, I want to make the truth about how our bodies work accessible to everyone. And that means breaking down these concepts and giving people just the straight story in easy language, you know, that everybody understands.
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
And to be debunking what is flooded into our
it's
stream.
Awful.
Because we keep getting more of that, right? Like, and I often tell folks, if you're getting a lot of that diet culture stuff, they'll give you can hit those 3 dots and you can report it as spam.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, all the time. I do it all the time.
Because none of it is true or based in science, right? I hope we get to a place in the world where science becomes a cool thing again, and that we not pseudoscience, but actually peer-reviewed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're making it cool again. And even if we aren't, I don't give a shit. I'm doing it anyways, because that's the only thing that really matters, is that the information that I'm giving to people is credible.
Yeah.
You know,
is science backed, is peer review backed, is all of those things.
That's important.
It is important. I think we've gotten away from that. I think there's a lot of, you know, I actually hate it when people get in my feed and I go, okay, that's great. Where can I, like you said, where can I find the research on this? And people will say things like, well, just because there's not a research paper on it doesn't mean it's not true. And I go, then it's anecdotal. Okay. Yeah. It's not based.
I don't give a shit how many anecdotes you have, how many testimonials you have. It doesn't equal science.
Research.
Like, it just doesn't. And the fucked up thing is that people out there take the opinion of anybody as fact and use those opinions to guide their healthcare.
Yeah.
And to guide, you know, whatever, like their nutrition. And I had Jen Gunter and Amanda Thebe on my podcast.
Another 2 Canadians. I love Jen Gunter. She's like you. She knows how to read a bitch.
No, I know.
I'm telling you,
but she said something really amazing. She was like, it's so fucked up. Like, would you want a maverick pilot flying your plane?
No.
Would you want a maverick surgeon doing your surgery? No. So why are we relying on these maverick people, Paul Saladino, James DiNicolantino, like all of these fucking Bobby Parrish, Flav City idiot? Like, seriously, why are we relying on those people for our information and trusting our health to them? Because it shouldn't be.
No.
Right?
No, not at all. And I don't understand why we think that's okay, or why we want somebody who's outside the establishment. No offense to anybody. I want somebody who knows how the establishment works and works within it to work for me. Like, I'm not trying to have somebody who's a bus driver and great at being a bus driver, you know, do my fillings. I'm not. I know. I'm sure you're good at it, but no.
There's a real distrust for conventional medicine now. And it's just so frustrating because it's got like, I'm happy to entertain a healthy amount of skepticism, but going all the way to the other end of the spectrum and being some tinfoil hat fucking person who doesn't want to do their due diligence in like figuring out why they feel this way and what's actually going on, it's just unacceptable.
100%.
You know, and then barfing their shit everywhere on social media so that everybody else gets confused. Oh, maybe the COVID vaccine really does.
Oh my God. Stop it with that.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah. It's true. I just don't know, somewhere in the education system, something has broken down where critical thinking has fallen off the wayside.
It's non-existent.
And the amount of mental gymnastics people will do to believe an outlandish idea with no proof, even though it's been debunked but debunked,
I know.
and they still will do the gymnastics to make it make sense for them.
I know.
I don't understand how we got here.
I got in a fight with someone on Instagram the other day.
I love
because she was promoting. Oh, I have it too. I took screenshots. I think she ended up blocking me. Of course she did.
Yeah, that's good.
But she was like, she was promoting something that was, and she has absolutely no education whatsoever, like none.
Great.
And great. And then I was like, this isn't true, whatever. And she was like, well, dietitians are funded by big food, and you're not educated. You're not educated. And I'm like, I've been a dietitian for 23 years.
Exactly. Have you seen my
who's calling who uneducated?
Exactly.
Like but my point is that she believed so strongly that she was more educated than me in her absolute, nothingness on her resume.
Her Google searches.
And she believed so much in her own shit. It was like Dunning-Kruger had come to life and smacked me across the face.
Right.
You don't know what you don't know. And then she's like she was telling people, she was giving advice to people who have diabetes.
No.
Telling them that diabetes is caused by fat, not allowing the sugar to go into the cells, and that they should be drinking juice.
Are you serious?
I was like, you're going to hurt someone. You're actually going to hurt someone. Yeah. And people were in her feed and they were like, you're going to hurt someone or whatever. And she's like, well, you do you and I'll do me.
No. You're not just doing you. You're disseminating information
everybody
patently false that people will believe because of whatever reasons. They're fangirling, you're attracted.
I put her up on my stories, actually. That's how she found me, because I put her up. People send me all kinds of stuff every day.
I'm sure.
And it's like terrible. And someone sent me her stuff. I put it up on my stories and I'm like, this shit is dangerous. And then she was like, you should have come to me and, had a conversation.
I don't have to do that.
No.
You make this public.
You make this public and you are like, it makes me, I was so mad. I actually lost sleep. Sometimes I shake with rage, especially when people are taking advantage of others and are posting things that are potentially dangerous. And she has no clue. And she's like talking to diabetics, like she knows what she's talking about, and so mess up.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do something about her too.
I can't wait. Like, I just love that you go to bat.
I just Dr. Dianne Gunter. You are
taking.
She gets it bad too. She gets trolls like on Twitter. Terrible.
Like, I'm part of the Menopause Society. I've been an OG. I've written,
she's amazing. Her book, The Menopause Manifesto, is so good. She's so
next level.
I love her.
I love her too. And I put that on her Instagram. I go, damn, she just let somebody have it. I'm like, damn, girl, you know how to read a bit. Usually I'm like, be blocked and be blessed. Like, I don't have time.
No, she does respond. And also Amanda Thebe is amazing.
Oh, I got to check her out.
Yeah, she's incredible. She's a trainer. She's a menopause advocate. She wrote Menopocalypse, which was like, had me in stitches. She's fantastic. Those two women are like my menopause angels, Amanda Thebe and Jen Gunter. I love them so much. They're such fantastic women. Their brands, their social media,
we'll link to all of that, and I'm going to reach out to them and have a conversation. I'm going to do that. I've been following Dr. Jen Gunter for a long time, long before menopause, and now that I'm entrenched in it so well, I bought her book and I was like, because everybody's out there telling you need hormone replacement.
No.
Do I though? Do I actually though? So yeah, I love that. And as we wrap up on our hour, that was the quickest hour of our lives here. Tell me, what 3 pieces of advice do you have for someone who's seeking? Okay, first I'll ask you this.
Okay.
What does intentional well-being mean to you?
Intentional well-being. Intentional well-being means living for how you want to feel and eating with intention, knowing that the food that you're putting in your body is going to make you feel a certain way. It means educating yourself with the proper sources to live in a healthy way. And it means grabbing life by the balls and giving it a swing. Because we only go around once, people.
As far as we know, right? My mother always says that. As far as we know, we only got around once. Nobody's come back to tell us otherwise. My mother always says. And yeah, I love that. And what do you do? What are 3 things you do for intentional well-being for you, for Abby out there? Because you get a lot of stuff coming at you.
Yeah, I do.
How do you de-stress? How do you power down? Because I see the fire in you.
Yeah,
I
crazy.
see you, Sagittarius. I see the fire in you. I mimic the fire in you. I embrace the fire in you. How do you take care of yourself?
I take a bath almost every day.
Nice.
That's important. And I like close the bathroom door and open the window that's right at the level of the bathtub, like right, I can look out the window and it's just like I can hear the wind in the trees, and I just
so
close
nice.
the light, close the door. It's amazing. I travel a lot, as much as my budget can
allow.
Who am I joking? I don't have a budget. But I'm too lazy. But as much as I can, like financially, I travel on my own.
Okay, that's cool.
Because I make sure to take 1 or 2 trips a year. I take a lot of trips with my kids and stuff and for work, but by myself.
Yeah.
And I eat a lot of fucking vegetables. And some
What's your favorite vegetable? What's your favorite?
I really love broccoli and I love arugula. Arugula. My husband's like, that's like fart salad. But I love it.
I love
it. No, he's not. But it's okay. It's okay if you fart a lot because it's fine.
Farts are funny.
They're funny. But yeah, those are the 3 things I do. And I like to reconnect with my friends, and there's a lot of stuff. But it's funny because I was having a conversation on another podcast with someone, and he was like, you must get so upset, like following all these people who give out this information. I said, you know what? I don't follow them. That's how I take care of my mental health. I actually don't follow any of these people. I get people sending me stuff anyways. And for my own mental health, because I know it's stress, it's really stresses me out to see.
I can see that.
People. Yeah. So I just don't. And that's another thing that I do for myself. I really clean up my social media. I don't give a shit. Like if I'm friends with someone or if they're another dietitian, if their information that their content is making me feel like shit in any way, if they're making me feel angry or shitty, I either unfollow them or I mute them.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's fair. It's called preserving your peace.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's
you have to.
You have to prioritize that. There's too many things coming at us all at once that there's no way that you could take all that in and remain grounded and sane. Right.
Agree. Yeah.
Right. You need to take care of that. It has been an absolute scream to talk to you.
Yeah. It was a riot.
Grateful to have met you. I am thankful for your content. When you said yes to this podcast, I peed a little. It was just so exciting. I go to your page every single day to see what you're doing. Yeah, I'm on your Instagram stalking you on the regular because I just love the no holds bar. I just like the truth of it all. I just like the in your face. I like the swearing. I like all of it. And it's time. We need somebody out there speaking the truth in this way that is often to the point, but funny and still like entertaining, but gives you a moment to pause. So if you are not familiar with Abby Langer, check her out at abbylangernnutrition.com. Go ahead and make sure you check her out. I'm going to link all this in the show notes. And I want to give you a big thank you for agreeing to be on the Intentional Wellbeing podcast. It's been an amazing experience. And for those of you who are listening to the podcast, if you think somebody can get something out of this, please share it, like it, and hit us up on Apple iPods. Rate, like, subscribe, follow, and I'll see you all next time. And don't forget, be intentional with your well-being.